Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Fireside Chats. My name is Kira Sharrock, and I'm here on behalf of the Financial Advice Association of Australia Emerging Professionals Committee. Joining me today is Marcus Garabedian, Key Account Manager at Perpetual Group. Apologies, Marcus, I almost said Pendal there.
No, all good, you've been forgiven.
Perpetual Group. How are you, Marcus?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well. Thanks for your time. Thanks for the opportunity to come on. All is well.
Awesome. A little bit of background, I guess. The purpose of these chats was to look at different types of roles in the financial advice profession. You can study a financial planning degree, but the pathway into that does not have to be becoming an advisor. There's plenty of other roles that you can go into, and we're just wanting to showcase some of those with these chats. Marcus, tell me a little bit about your current role and how your job fits in within the financial advice profession.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Kira. So my current role, as you mentioned, is Key Account Manager for Perpetual, previously Pendal, but now under the Perpetual Group. In that role, I look after the wholesale advisor network. So yourself being one of those clients, we look after New South Wales and ACT servicing advisors that currently support our strategies, and also looking for new business where our strategies might help support advice businesses and kind of help them achieve better outcomes for their clients. It's kind of twofold in terms of account management and servicing existing clients and looking for new business.
Fantastic. So you and I actually used to be colleagues. Tell me a little bit more about what your pathway into the financial advice industry or profession looked like.
No, definitely. Entered financial advice at Shadforth with yourself, working as a client service manager. In that role, it was very much an administrative role, which really helped me, I think, gain an understanding of financial advice. It was incredibly useful in terms of building foundations for what was to come next in my career. I was in that role supporting the client relationship manager network, and then in turn, I guess, advisors. I was in that role for 6 or 7 months, half a year-ish, and before moving into a client relationship manager role, working under 2 Unreal advisors, and absolutely loved that role at Shaddies. It was kind of where I learnt where that my passion and skill set, I guess, was aligned with a client-facing role. And that really allowed me to kind of grab the bull by the horns in that role and get out there talking to clients while still kind of supporting the advisors in the day-to-day and getting exposure to everything financial advice. Absolutely loved my time there and owe a lot to Shaddies. And I was there for I think about 3 or 4 years in the end before moving on.
Yeah, awesome. All right, next question. What did you study at university and how does it relate to your current and previous roles?
So I went to Macquarie Uni and studied a Bachelor of Business Administration. I did not major in any disciplines just because heading into uni didn't really know what I wanted to do coming out the other side. So I didn't really want to silo myself into something like accounting or HR. And then realised it wasn't for me, and absolutely loved the fact that Macquarie allowed me to do that. So it was a very broad degree, got exposure to a whole bunch of different things, and kind of through that realised that I wanted to be in the finance side of things, in investments, but I guess just kind of have a human aspect to business as well. And that is kind of what led me to financial advice. As mentioned, loved the degree, and I guess university, to answer the second part of your question, is just that high level of tertiary education that kind of, I think, sets you up for entering the workforce. It teaches you a bit of discipline, I guess, and sets you up for a life outside of study, which you've kind of known since year one or something. In saying that, I think you do learn a lot more in your day to day, because so much changes from business to business, let alone industry to industry. So I think a lot of it is on the job learning. But yeah, in saying that, I do think that you know, it sets the foundations for you to enter the workforce. And then I'm currently looking at doing some more study to kind of hone in on I guess whatever you choose to pursue in your career.
Yeah, fantastic. So I assume that study will be related to more the funds management side of things.
Yeah, yet to be determined, but likely. So there's a few courses through different institutions that help you kind of hone your skills. But then there's also, you know, you could do a master's or something like that. I guess it's just how much you're prepared to take on.
Yeah, fantastic. And you know, with everything changing all the time in our profession, it's so important to have that attitude of continued learning, I think.
Yeah, I think definitely. Yeah, as you mentioned, it's forever evolving, and it's I guess especially for yourself, talking to clients every day, managing a lot of the time their life savings, it's important to keep your skills sharp.
Yeah, absolutely. So what influenced your decision to make the move from advice over to funds management?
So working at Shadforth, absolutely loved it, as I mentioned. Absolutely loved the client-facing aspect of the role, and could definitely have taken my career easily down that path of becoming an advisor. I just realised that I was kind of swaying in my day-to-day toward the investment piece, and I guess my passions were more aligned with the investment side of things, rather than everything else that comes with financial advice, like estate planning, tax, etc. But then in saying that, I didn't want to give up the human side to business, which I kind of realised that I'd loved. And we were on the receiving end of a lot of fund manager distribution, and I think that's kind of which sparked my interest in the industry. And then, you know, funds manager distribution was kind of became that happy medium between it having exposure to the investment side of things without giving up what I loved in business. And yeah, so made the shift across, and have been loving it ever since. But I guess in saying that, I guess a byproduct of these days MDAs and SMAs and stuff like that, the middle portion of those that work in advice like myself kind of lose exposure to the investment side of things, just because if they're not making the decisions, it's kind of you lose you know, the analysis side of things and whatnot. So I guess that's, while it's massively efficient for clients and for advice businesses, I think that might contribute to the way I felt and the way other people might be feeling. But yeah, in saying that, made the jump across to investment management, and it's been unreal so far. Started at Pendal in a similar role actually to the client service manager role as a business development officer, where you can kind of learn the nuts and bolts of it all, and then moved up through account manager to key account manager. But yeah, it's that BDO role really helped, I guess, lay the foundation, similar to that CSM role, entering financial advice. And yeah, absolutely loving it. A lot's changed in the last year or so with the Perpetual Pendal merger, but we are definitely at the other side of that now, and it's an unreal business, and it's an exciting time for us now.
Yeah, that's great. Sounds like you've found the sweet spot.
Yes.
Yeah,
It feels
the
that way,
areas that are most interesting to you.
Yeah, I think I learned pretty fast that I wasn't going to be the decision maker or the analyst behind the investments, but just being able to communicate that to clients, I think, is what I love.
That's great. Last question. What is your top tip for those who'd like to follow in your footsteps?
Go for it. If I can do it, you definitely can. I think a big part of what I learned under, I guess, my mentors and management at Shadforth was laying the foundations for wherever you want to take your career. So the day in, day out, if you can really utilize the days to build that knowledge in terms of wherever you want, whatever direction you want to take, it's going to make a lot more sense when you get there, for one, and it's going to make the move a lot less jarring. So I think just take advantage of any opportunities that you get in your day to day to learn, and we got to take advantage of the fact that Australia is a relatively small market, small industry. So it is easier to sidestep, take advantage of relationships and ask questions, and yeah, it might seem daunting, but it's definitely not.
Fantastic. Some really great insights there, Marcus. Thank you.
Of course, no, all good. Thank you, Kira.
All right. Well, I think that's all we have time for. Really appreciate you taking the time to have this fireside chat. And yeah, hopefully we'll catch up again soon.
No doubt. Thank you, Kira. All the best.
Thanks, Marcus. You too.
Cheers.